back to the channel, everybody. Got Ashley here to help me. So today we are finally getting around to removing this engine. Do you know why we're pulling the engine?
To make it faster.
How is it going to make it faster?
More cubic inches, which equals
Negative.
more power. No.
Negative.
Okay, let me
Wrong
think again.
answer.
Okay. How's the new engine going to make it faster?
Yep.
More power.
More power. Yes, correct answer.
Okay.
And it's also going to be lighter. The new engine should be a little bit lighter than this one because this one still has iron heads on it. That one has aluminum heads. Should be maybe 50 pounds difference, I think, thereabouts. So we'll get this one pulled out, and the other one should be just a direct swap. So this should be, say, bolt in, 80 horsepower, and weight reduction. How often do you get to say that? So we will start pulling this one out. And don't mind Ashley's shirt, we're not doing an LS swap. We're still keeping a Ford and a Ford.
I drive Chevy trucks.
All right, the engine is out.
Let's see other engines.
The engine's out. So as you can see, I left the transmission in, so I just didn't want to deal with having to pull that out. So hopefully putting the new one in, getting it to line up and slide in will be not too troublesome. We'll see how that goes. So if you've never pulled an engine before, it's not too difficult. You just need to go through, make sure that everything is disconnected. All electrical, fuel, exhaust, transmission, power steering, whatever other lines. Just make sure that stuff's all disconnected. The only special tools that I needed today was for the fuel line to get those disconnected. It's just a quick disconnect kind of thing that's on there from stock. So yeah, that's the engine removed. Then installing the new one is basically reverse of that. So we'll go over and look at the two engines. So there's the one that was removed. That's the one that's going in. So as you can see on this one, if you look closely, there's no electrical harness. So I need to take the one off of this guy and swap it over to this one. Other things that I've done, I got rid of the heater line that goes through here, and I just put the sensor straight in there. And then this side is capped, so this is just a suction, so you can cap that off and not cause any harm to the engine. Or different than what I did on this one, I still had this one connected on here, and had a T with the sensor in there. Nothing wrong with this, but I learned that you can just do this nice simple setup and it will work just fine. So I could have left the power steering from the other engine in the car and then not had to disconnect that, but that power steering was starting to make some whining noises, so I don't know how much longer it actually had. I also don't know anything about this one, but I'm hoping that it is probably in better shape than mine. This alternator is looking a little rough. I could swap it out, but I'll just leave it for now. We'll check that it's charging. If not, it's an easy thing to swap out. I did pull the AC off of there because I don't want that. So I'll get a belt similar setup to as I have on this one. I could just reuse this belt, but this belt is several years old and is making noise, so it needs to be changed out anyways. So this engine I put in back in like 2011, kind of unknown miles. I got it from a guy that was parting out a GT, so it's done me well. I've had to do a little maintenance on it. I did put a cam and heads and the intake on it, but other than that, and a water pump, other than that, it's been flawless and still is flawless. Engine is making good power, but this one will make more. In an earlier video, I already went over all the things on this engine and in this engine, so if you missed that, you can go click back and watch that. So one of the things I'm debating to do, which I think I'm going to go ahead and do it, is paint all the red. Just paint it a gray, so the same gray that I painted the roll bar and other items. So it's just kind of a flat gray. I think it's Rust-Oleum Storm Gray. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it means stripping out the rest of all of these items. So I'm going to basically get the car jacked up and then just take off the caster camber plates to drop the suspension down. And then just start taking off some of this other wiring. I guess I'll probably pull the brake booster. That's the one item that I'm not too sure about. But it would be good to get the paint around that. So I decided to also take off the light bar off the front. The suspensions are all out. Pretty much everything is off. I've gone ahead and wire wheeled the engine bay to kind of clean it up. I still need to actually clean it and wipe it down. But as you can see, pretty much everything is out of the engine bay. I could remove the brakes, but I think if I just kind of let it hang there, that should be okay, and then hopefully I don't need to really bleed the brakes. So yeah, that's the progress on it so far. Next I'll get things taped off and then painted. One thing that would be nice, I don't really have the time to do it now, but something that I want to do is actually cut off this front end, probably from the tower forward, and do like a bar setup. So that would be nice, kind of similar to the front bumper and the lower course board, but do that all in that tube setup. That would be kind of nice. Probably get rid of some weight, but also just kind of clean up the area. But I'd have to figure out something to do with the battery that usually sits here, which I can move that anywhere in the car, and then kind of just figure out other tabs and supports and things like that. But maybe one day. Next shot will be of the bay painted and done. All right, final update for this video. Engine bay is all painted. Started putting the harnesses and the brake booster all back in. Started tightening everything back up. So next video will be installing the engine. I've gone ahead and got the engine harness swapped over from the old engine. Also went ahead and put some heat protection shields on the spark plugs. They're not touching. It's just something that I like to do to keep them from having issues down the line. I had them on the other engine too. So yeah, the next video, this engine will be going in and hopefully running by the end of the video. This should be a bolt-in swap, but we'll see how that goes.
Because give me all your numbers so I can phone you.